we all know stress. Like, everybody knows the term stress and everybody knows relatively how it feels. But do we really know what goes on inside of our bodies or what we should be doing to really help ourselves when we're stressed out? Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am honestly so excited about today's video because I know that today's video is just one of those videos we're gonna watch it and like so many different light bulbs are gonna go off in your head and you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, so many things are coming together, because that's exactly how I felt when I began to learn a lot about stress. Because truth is, stress is something that we are all very, very familiar with, but a lot of us know relatively nothing about it. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Megs. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And today I'm gonna be teaching you about stress. So stress is something that I began to look into because, as I said, we're all quite familiar with it. It's definitely something that I experience in my day-to-day life, but it was affecting me in a negative way. So as I began learning about my hormonal imbalances, so if you haven't seen the video about how I go over kind of like what my hormonal imbalances are post-cancer treatment and just like being a woman on birth control, watch that video. It's also a reason why I quit coffee. Another video for you to watch that actually has two parts, so don't forget to watch the first part and the second part. But as I began to learn about that, I really began to try to see what natural ways can I help my body heal itself, essentially. So I'm doing supplements, I'm making lifestyle changes, but what else is affecting my hormones and how can I help that? I really love learning about the root cause of things and how I can do the best that I can in natural ways to help my body. With that being said, one of my hormones that was the most off balance were my cortisol levels. And cortisol is a hormone that is directly related to how your body is able to handle stress and your energy levels, both of which I knew were suffering in my life, and that's how I knew that something needed to change. Which is when I began deciding that I wanted to look into stress. Now, I'm someone that thinks that things happen for a reason. I will say it forever. I truly believe that things happen for a reason. And like right when I decided that I'm gonna start learning about stress, somebody that I follow on Instagram posted this book on their stories. So this book is called Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle. And it's almost like I needed this book, like the universe was sending me this book. But when I tell you that I've never put anything in my Amazon cart faster and checked out faster, I immediately bought this book and read it. I'm gonna leave all the details for it down below. But essentially, this book is kind of what today's video is about and what taught me a lot about stress and kind of like made it all make sense to me. So this book, the first half of it is about stress and kind of explaining how stress works. This book is more aimed towards women and preventing burnout as a woman. But the second half of the book does kind of go over different things that women experience and feel because of society, because of the way the world is, that lead us to burnout. So the first half is really about stress and the second half is more about like women and society and like the reasons why we go to burnout and stuff like that. One of the first things that this book taught me is that the way we deal with our stress is so much different than the thing that stresses us out, aka our stressors. So when something is stressing us out in life, we often think that the solution is to get rid of the stressor, which is important, yes, like either by eliminating what's stressing us out or by finding ways to make it less stressful, to cause less stress on us. But a lot of the times we don't look at how we are handling the stress and how we are dealing with the stress, whether we're dealing with it in a healthy way. Basically, the book says just because you got rid of your stressor doesn't mean you got rid of your stress. So a lot of what I had to learn when dealing with my stress is how do I, first of all, exhibit stress? Because we all show stress in a different way. We all feel it in a different way and it looks different for all of us. And then how do I deal with it? Is it in a healthy way or am I just trying to put like little band-aid patches, little quick fixes on it that might not necessarily be the healthiest or might actually not be that effective? Another really interesting thing that I learned is we are all very aware of fight or flight, right? So when our body thinks it's in danger, we have fight or flight mode, which means we either fight the danger head on or we flight. And this is often when our body thinks that we are about to die. We are literally in deep danger. But what if I told you that there was a third one? There's fight, flight, and there's freeze, because sometimes when we are in danger, we just don't know what to do. We essentially become paralyzed, we freeze. And I'm sure that you can know from your own experience in life that you can experience all three of them depending on the situation. You can sometimes fight the problem head on, sometimes you run away from the problem and you flight, or sometimes you just freeze. But I think knowing that there are actually 3 of them is quite important in this scenario. This is why it's really important that we learn about our stress cycle. So what is a stress cycle? So like I said, when we are in danger, our body goes into fight, flight, or freeze. And our body often associates stress with danger because when we're stressed, we're obviously negatively affected. And when we are constantly stressed out, our body, our digestion's off, our hormones are off, our immune system's off. That's why we often get sick. That's why we often feel bloated and like not great with our stomachs. That's why a lot of things are just going wrong with our bodies when we are constantly stressed out. However, our bodies are not built to constantly be in stress. But with our lives nowadays, with the way that work is, with the way that life just is, we are often stressed out pretty much daily. Well, most of us at least. And with that, chronic stress leads to a lot of bad things. Like I said, our bodies are not meant to be chronically stressed out, which is why we then begin to develop serious illnesses, serious diseases, such as different cancers, such as different other serious illnesses. So it's really important to break that stress cycle, aka close the stress cycle. So what does that mean? What that means is you need to find a way to let your body know that you're safe. To let your body know that it's okay, that you don't need to be in fight, flight, or freeze mode anymore, and that all of your functions can essentially return back to normal. So how do we do this? Experts say that the easiest way to close your stress cycle and help your body feel safe is to exercise for 20 minutes a day. Not really even exercise, just to move your body for 20 minutes, typically at the end of your stressor. So if your stressor is work or whatever you do during the day, in the evening, take 20 minutes to move your body. By moving your body, you're allowing it to know that it is safe and that you can return back to normal. So essentially, if you needed another reason to exercise more often, now you have one. However, that is not the only way to close your stress cycle. You can also laugh, dance, spend time with people that fill your cup, not people that stress you out. Have alone time to de-stress and just be by yourself, express yourself creatively. There are a lot of ways to break the stress cycle. And this is, again, one of those times where you need to kind of listen to your body and figure out, like, what is it that when you do it, that's healthy, not unhealthy, that's healthy, that makes you feel de-stressed and relaxed. 2 really interesting ones that the book brought up that I want to share with you, because when you think about them, you're like, yeah, that makes sense, but they're quite interesting. The first one is to hug someone for 20 seconds, because you're not going to hug someone you're not comfortable with for 20 seconds. 20 seconds is an awkward amount of time. So when you do hug someone, chances are it's probably someone you're comfortable with. When you hug someone for 20 seconds, your body feels like it's safe and it feels like it can relax and get out of that fight or flight mode. The next one is to kiss someone for 6 seconds. And the same rule kind of applies here. You're not going to kiss a stranger for 6 seconds because 6 seconds is an awkward amount of time to be kissing someone. So if you're kissing someone for 6 seconds, again, your body gets the message that you're safe and that it can break that stress cycle and start returning back to normal. I also wanted to share a podcast episode by Shetty. So I'm gonna leave the screenshot for it right here. I'll also leave the link to it down below. But it was an episode about stress, and he essentially tried to change the mindset around stress and how we think of stress in our day-to-day lives. Because he said, most of us, we have stress every single day. And unfortunately, in most cases, there's not anything we can do to eliminate it. It's just kind of something that we have to live with. Although there are things we can do to lessen stress and maybe set boundaries around it, to one extent or another, we're all going to experience stress again. However, if we change the way that we view stress, it will help us deal with the stress. AKA, I don't know if you're like me, but being stressed stresses me out. Meaning that when I'm stressed because I'm stressed, right? He said, just think of it as something that happens every single day, but you know how to deal with it. He compared it to being hungry and being dirty. When you're hungry, you don't get mad at yourself for being hungry. You just do what you know is going to fix that. You eat and then you move on. Same thing with when you're dirty and sweaty. You don't get mad at yourself for being dirty and sweaty. You just do what you know fixes that, which is take a shower and you move on with your day. The same thing applies for stress. We don't get mad at ourselves for being stressed out. We just know that it's something that's happening and we do what we know will fix it. This is why it's really important, again, to listen to your body and to work on yourself. Just really be introspective. How do I best fix my stress? What in my lifestyle can be a consistent thing that I do to help me manage my stress better so that I can manage it, deal with it, and move on in a healthy way? I feel like I really need to stress in a healthy way because a lot of us tend to fall into negative habits when coping with our stress, which in turn just ends up in a negative spiral. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about with regard to stress is actually a supplement. This supplement is called L-THEANINE, and L-THEANINE is an amino acid that is naturally found in a lot of products such as matcha, so matcha lovers. If you need another reason to love matcha, or if you don't like matcha but wanted to give it a try, that's another really good reason to have matcha. L-THEANINE is a supplement that has effects to temporarily promote relaxation. The supplement was initially introduced to me by my naturopath and I love it. I think it works really, really well for myself at least. I take it whenever I am stressed out, whenever I feel very overwhelmed by life, or sometimes I even take it as a preventative measure. If I know I'm gonna have a long stressful day, or if I'm about to go into a very stressful situation, I take it so that way I feel a little more chilled out in the situation. And it's also good for sleep if you have trouble sleeping at night. However, with everything, please do your own research if this is something that you are considering taking or trying out for yourself. I'm not a medical professional. I am just simply somebody who is sharing something that worked for them. But if you are considering it, again, do your own research, consult a medical professional, make sure that you're also following the instructions on the bottle and just being responsible with it. Another natural way that I have used to de-stress myself is CBD products. But please note that I do live in Canada where these products are legal and they are sold at dispensaries and online, so they are readily accessible. However, I do know that this is not the case anywhere in the world. It is really often consumed in like sodas, in oils and tinctures, in gummies. I personally love making myself a little CBD mocktail. This has become like my Friday night tradition. So I'll just do like a little bit of ice, a little bit of juice, some sparkling water, some fruits, and then drop some CBD oil in there, and it just makes like a really delicious de-stressing mocktail. But now they put it in like lotions, bath bombs, like honestly anything. So there are lots of places you can get it, but if you are in a country where it is legal and just readily available, check out your local dispensary or online. And the last thing that I did want to talk about with regard to stress is just emphasizing the introspection that it requires, because a lot of things when you're changing your lifestyle, they require not just listening to what somebody else tells you and what somebody says to do, because like I said, we all handle things differently, we all experience things differently, and that's the case with stress as well. Also, oftentimes, and this is something that I really had to realize, oftentimes we cause ourselves extra stress. We are in our heads, we are overthinking situations, we are playing out scenarios, we are just talking to ourselves. Our internal dialogue is not healthy and it's causing stress for ourselves. It's causing additional stress that honestly doesn't need to be there. And so I know a lot of this might seem overwhelming, and I really hope that you're sitting here and you're like, wow, this is really cool to know. And just, I think that the more that we're informed about things, the more that we understand why things happen the way that they do, the better that we can not only understand ourselves, but also begin to work with ourselves to find healthier ways to handle different situations and to just make sense of a lot of stuff. Because we all know stress, like everybody knows the term stress and everybody knows relatively how it feels. But do we really know what goes on inside of our bodies or what we should be doing to really help ourselves when we're stressed out? So I really do hope that this video was informative, and I really love learning about things that help me complement that help me with my healthy lifestyle, and with learning the things that I'm trying to heal myself, or learning different things that will just improve my healthy living. And with that, I do love sharing them with you. So if you do want to see more videos about things that I will be learning in the future, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you did learn something new today or enjoy this video, then please give it a thumbs up. It really does help to support me and my channel. But with that, I will leave you. Whoa. But with that, I will leave you. So thank you so much for watching, and know yourself, know your body, and until next time.